If you've been on TikTok recently, you might have seen some interviews trending from this woman right here. Now, this is Rachel Zegler, and she is known for playing Snow White in the upcoming Snow White live action movie. And if you didn't know that there was a new Snow White live action coming out, I wouldn't be shocked because even though it's scheduled to come out in March of 2024, the amount of press for it is very lacking. And that's because when people are talking about it, they're talking about how bad it looks just off the bat. And I think it has a lot to do with people not trusting Disney with live actions and feeling like it's all for money solely, and that a lot of care doesn't go into the movies the same way that the animated movies had. And if we were to just take a look at a couple of the Disney films that are live action and didn't do very well, there's quite a few out there. Sometimes Disney just isn't capable of fulfilling the idea of a live action film. Sometimes they just aren't able to do it justice. And I feel like it is hard to do so when you're trying to transfer emotions from an animated film into a live action. But even though it seems like an impossible task at sometimes, Disney has shown that they can make good movies that are live action. But like I said, it's hard to trust Disney with doing things right and not just for money. And one of the biggest things that was announced recently that they are changing from the original story is that the seven dwarfs are no longer a thing. And this new change of getting rid of the seven dwarfs as we've known them from the original Snow White has already caused a lot of controversy online. And I know on the flip side, some people may say, well, the idea of having seven dwarfs in general is offensive. And I totally understand that sentiment. The old version of Snow White was offensive. It was from the 1930s and people just didn't care like they do now. But I think instead of completely getting rid of these roles that could have been filled by actors who do have dwarfism, Disney could have just adjusted the backstory for them. They could have totally flipped the narrative that was set from the 1930 original. They could have easily written a new script that didn't paint the dwarves in a light of being outcasts and lesser than. Why completely erase them and give up the chance to just do better on this run, instead of just completely cutting it and adding in a diverse group of magical creatures in their wake? But shockingly, that's not the only thing that they're changing in the storyline, because apparently from interviews with Rachel Zegler, the new Snow White, we have learned that more than likely a lot is going to be changed from the storyline. And I feel like the only things that aren't changing is having Snow White and an evil stepmom. But it makes total sense. If you watch the interviews with Rachel Zegler, there's a constant tone of how outdated and old-timey the original Snow White is, which of course it is. It was made in 1937. What do you want from it?
Reality is that the cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power. Reimagining the actual role of Snow White, it became about the fairest of them all, meaning who is the most just and who can become a fantastic leader.
Also, the fact that she's not going to be saved by the prince.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's
is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
But her continuous pushing of, well, it's modern times now and women can do their own thing and women can speak for themselves and women can be their own heroes, we don't need men, is just really, really weird. We all know that we don't need men. We all know that a heroine doesn't need a true love's kiss to be healed anymore. And I think that was shown really, really well with Frozen. I mean, that was one of my favorite parts of that movie, was the fact that in Frozen, Anna isn't saved by a traditional true love kiss. She saves herself by sacrificing her life for Elsa. It's the true love for her sister that ends up bringing her back to life. A true girl boss moment. And I think the multiple interviews that have been done where this constant narrative of not needing a true love and not being able to have both love and be powerful at the same time is very strange, especially in 2023. I mean, if a girl wants to be a leader and also fall in love, she can. I think that was really well shown in Frozen 2. I mean, Anna becomes the new leader of Arendelle and also ends up getting engaged. I don't understand why now there's this weird narrative trying to be pushed of extreme feminism. as if in order to be a feminist and be powerful, you cannot also fall in love, is very strange to me. And it's a weird idea when you think about it, because it's the exact opposite, because now instead of choosing love, you're having to choose power instead. Whereas I think most people would love the idea of being able to choose both. Why not be able to have both? Why not have a Snow White movie where Snow White is still powerful and able to overcome obstacles and be strong and be a leader, and also fall in love? Oh, I know why, because there already is one. And I'm referring to Mirror Mirror, which is an absolutely great movie. It's with Lily Collins as Snow White. I think Mirror Mirror is a very good rendition of Snow White without being too old-fashioned-y, but still having a protagonist who can be both powerful and strong and deal with emotions and overcoming obstacles, with also finding someone that they love. And also, to counter Mirror Mirror, I will bring up Snow White and the Huntsman as well, which is another good movie. If you want to see Snow White be more of a strong, very independent, very like capable, extreme leader, you could always watch Snow White and the Huntsman. Both variables have been done prior, and I think it's really weird for me to see a new Snow White movie coming out that is just completely different from the story. And for other people, I think this is why there's so much controversy right now regarding the movie, because so many people don't understand why there's this weird narrative being pushed that Snow White is modern, Snow White is a strong, powerful woman, when it's literally a live action remake of Snow White. Why not just have it be based more on the storyline? We all know it's a story and we know women are strong. I mean, we just had the Barbie movie come out and that really fucked us all up, because it was a good remembrance that women are independent and can be strong and we can do whatever we want, you know? But I think that Disney has made a lot of weird mistakes on this movie, which is surprising from just everyone's feedback. I mean, I'm super shocked that they thought the changing of the 7 drawers would be good at all. And also the fact that they're having Rachel and Gail push so hard this idea of Snow White is different, Snow White isn't the old Snow White is modern, Snow White is strong. And it really is coming off as though Disney decided, hey, we need more feminism because it sells apparently, and that's what girls like, so let's do more of that. And it very much is not genuine and just very much seems forced. And no one likes forced feminism. No one likes the idea of creating a strong character for the means of monetary value. If Snow White is only strong and capable because Disney wants to make money off of women and the idea of feminism, then I don't want to see it, and neither do other people. And we're not all silly little people who don't know how to read deeper. And overall, I just don't understand why Disney is treating the public like we're just gonna be okay with any of this. And obviously the film's already done and there's nothing like that could be changed about it, but I just don't think it's gonna do well. And I think it's weird the approach that they took towards this movie, and also what they're taking as far as the interviews currently. I just don't know how they think people will get behind this. I mean, I'm sure some people will obviously see it just to review it. I kind of want to see it just to review it when it comes out, because I don't know how this is going to be good. And I have very not high hopes for this movie. But that's just my opinion, and I would be really interested to know what other people think about it. Do you think that the idea of them just completely getting rid of the dwarfs and trying to make it magical creatures to be like more politically correct is better? I don't know. Maybe it's different from me. I'd like to know what you guys think, but that's just my opinion on the new Snow White that's coming out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.